Welcome back to the Rural Energy Startup Program Round 2 video series. In this video, we're going to talk about the application itself and accounts that you will need to set up an application and to validate parts of your application. So, applicants must create an account with the PSC grant system where the electronic application is completed. The link on this page on this slide will take you to the PSC grant login system. The PSC grant system is connected to the ERF system. An account is required for both. If you have an ERF account from the PSC grant system login page, follow the link to validate your ERF. If you do not have an ERF account from the PSC grant login page, follow the link to create an ERF account and then return to the login page and follow the link to validate your ERF account. This will help you and allow you to log into the PSC grant system. Now, it is important to remember that SAM registration and SAM unique identifiers are required prior to contract with the OEI and ideally should be completed prior to the application if at all possible. So applicants must register with sam.gov and obtain a Universal Entity Identifier, a UEID, prior to receiving a grant award and are encouraged to do so as soon as possible prior to. This will provide you with a unique UEID number for your application. A UEID number is a unique 12-character alphanumeric ID used to identify your organization. SAM is a web-based government-wide application that collects, validates, stores, and disseminates business information about intended federal grant recipients and other partners. Instructions for registering with SAM and obtaining a UEID are available at the link on this slide. So application content overview. So there are two reference documents that are linked on this page, the application instructions and the PSC grant system user guide system. The second guide will help you guide you through the grant system and answer any questions that you might have about that. And the application instructions are a little bit of kind of what we're talking about in these videos, but will also provide more depth and necessary information that you will need to know to apply for the Rural Energy Startup Program Round 2. All key information and narrative questions go into the PSC grant system where you will answer the questions and provide the information necessarily for your application. So it's important to note that there are also some required documents to be uploaded into the PSC grant system. The first is the 9714-FG-2024 Application Metrics Excel document. This document is linked right here to the page where it will open up an Excel document for you. This is a required document that will be discussed later on in a different video. We also use the OEI map application, opens up on a web page. There'll be another video detailing the OEI map itself that will require you to take a screenshot of your location that will prove your rural eligibility. Other supplemental materials that are recommended that may be uploaded with your grant is a quote or bid from a contractor, contractors, or supplier and suppliers that might be connected to your project. If applicable, documentation of partnerships, and if applicable, additional letters of support, survey data, or additional materials that best support the application. Application content uploads. So again, the required documents that are linked here, the 9714-FG-2024 applicant metric document. This will ask for zip codes and the census tract information. This information is used for disadvantaged communities that have been discussed in a previous video and will be discussed in additional videos as well. Additionally, for the OEI map, our office has developed a map tool for applicants to identify disadvantaged communities and rural eligibility. Applicants should provide a visual mapped representation of the project location, such as PDF images, highlighting the rural eligibility of the location, as well as areas that will benefit from the project. As I mentioned before, there will be a separate video about how to use the OEI map and how to get that information in visual form. Next, application content. So some specific details. So one of the things that you'll need to provide is a project name. This should identify the name of the applicant project with the following: your legal name, activity type, and project site or area. So there's an example provided of Jefferson County doing a municipal energy plan. So Jefferson County Comprehensive Energy Plan, Jefferson. Uh, in the application, it will also request a project description field. So this is a brief 500-character description, a broad overview of what your proposed activities and the intended outcomes are. You will also select an activity type, and you will enter in a grant amount requested and total project cost. Additional details that will need to be provided, primary contact information will also go here, and there are a couple other fields with an asterisk that will indicate that they are required. This talks a little bit about UEID that we've talked about on previous slides as well. Application contacts. So you will need to enter contact information. There are internal and external contacts. External stakeholders have to have the permission of the subrecipient internal contact for us at the Office of Energy Innovation to talk to them. There may be crossovers between these two contact categories, but that is only after we have deemed that they can speak on and or make decisions behalf of the subrecipient. So that is an important note here between these two. So for internal contacts, you will enter a primary contact. This person will be the main point of contact. They will manage the grant day to day. They will need access to the grant system. Secondary contact is a backup to this primary. If you have a financial manager that deals with reimbursements and financial reporting, you may put them here. This will default to this will be the primary contact if omitted. If there's a grant manager that progress reports, also put them here. Otherwise, this will also be the primary contact. And an authorized representative, so a person legally authorized to sign the contract between the Office of Energy Innovation and your entity. For external contacts, there's a contractor, that's prospective installation contractor or consultant, or you might have a partner. These are stakeholders or outside organizations that provide project input. You'll also be asked to fill out a budget. This is the order that will be shown in the PSC grant system. This goes over the budget categories and kind of their definitions. These categories also appear in Appendix A of the application instructions. I am not going to go over each of these in depth line by line. You may pause the video here to read a little bit more about these. Information is also in the application instructions about each of these categories. If you have questions about where this information about budgets, budget information, and anything related to that, please feel free to contact our office at the oei.gov, oei@wisconsin.gov. Application content, the communities tab. So here you will provide the site location which the project will be placed. If it's a countywide project, select the county option in both the county and municipality drop-down menus. This tab is not reviewed for merit. This is more for gathering information, and applicants will also be required to provide a complete list of all zip codes and census tracts in the Excel document that we've talked about, the 9714-FG-2024 application metrics. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a brief example of what this will look like. So the county is La Crosse, the municipality will be the city of La Crosse in this particular example. You will want to do the same for your particular project. Application content for the narrative. So this looks a little bit more at the narrative questions that are going to be coming up. We will talk about the narrative questions in a bit more detail about each of the sections in a different video, but just important to note that the grant system responses are limited to 3,000 characters, about 1 page approximately for narrative questions. All questions do require a response in order to move forward in the system, and be sure to always save your work before advancing to the next page of the narrative question. This just helps make sure that nothing is lost if anything happens. The narrative section also includes an executive summary and project detail questions. The executive summary asks for your UEID, key partners or stakeholders, project objectives and metrics, budget justification, a list of reference materials that may be uploaded, and several affirmations. The project detail questions are covered later in this presentation, as I've already mentioned. And just a quick note, for RESP round 2, there are 17 grant questions in total, 3 in the executive summary, and then questions 4 through 17 in the merit review criteria. And the last part for this particular video is the application review. Supplemental information may be provided during application window to our office at oei@wisconsin.gov and may be requested by the commission during review panel for additional details. All applications are public unless otherwise specified. An application may be withdrawn at any time, and merit criteria incorporated into the narrative questions will be used to guide the review panel in evaluating applications. Important to note, and something I will touch on again in other videos, the commission makes final decisions. They are not bound by the evaluation, the review panel's evaluation. The commission makes all determinations about awarding grants. So it is important to note that it is the commission who makes decisions for grant awards here. Again, if you have any questions about anything presented in this video or the program in general, please contact our office at oei@wisconsin.gov. Thank you.